Hey guys, this is Tyler here. I'm coming to you to talk a bit about this situation happening right now in Iran and some ideals to keep in mind here. If we go back to 2020, there was the whole COVID situation, and the biggest lesson that I always pointed out to people with COVID was not the situation itself, but the byproduct effects that had on the economy and the outcomes of that. That was more critical than anything. A lot of people, including myself, questioned the veracity, the truthfulness of this alleged virus and where it came from, how it came about, and the actual consequences of this. Many people saw this and didn't just take a more lightened approach with medical situations, but also with economics, with potential problems, whether it be their citizenship, where they were living, the job situation, how effective they could mitigate a crisis, if they could stay afloat and thrive in a similar black swan event. Once again, we have the situation right now with Iran. Some people may call this a black swan event, others may not. But one thing is for certain is, once again, it illustrates the need to be prepared and to also realize that as absurd as this situation seems, people can question, did an oil crisis need to happen? Or I should say, did a war have to happen? Everything that came about. Huge push that countries worldwide are placing on both a circular economy and also on utilizing more alternative energy sources such as wind energy, and also look at all the electricity that's being generated now for data centers and for many other aspects of our economy, including cars. Even if this war didn't happen, there is a strong push by governments and companies to push more and more what they call sustainability, and that included things like electricity and what. To me, that was actually going to happen no matter what, and I think the war situations just accelerated this. Places like China were already putting a strong push on sustainable energy sources like wind energy, and of course their electricity boom in the form of electric cars, e-bikes, many other things like appliances. China's been on this growth now for some time in the electric space. Obviously, other countries now are probably looking at their situations with the situation of oil. Yeah, to some people, this may be like a COVID 2.0. This might be another kind of black swan event. What is for certain is that it just reinforces the need to diversify residency, to be acute with things that happen in the economy, situations break out. It's so unstable right now, and a lot of these problems we see worldwide go much deeper. There's a famous author, a Russian author by the name of Alexander Dugin. He's written some incredible books. One of the books he's written is called The Third Political Theory. What he discusses is how we're moving away from this decades and decades of a kind of a one world system that's at its core driven by the US, and we're moving more towards a multipolar world where different spheres, different regions of the globe have strong influence and drive their own systems and are attaining less of their influence from countries like the US. Unquestionably, this is also being driven by the likes of Donald Trump. Also, you look at the side effects, the things that can arise from political situations that are sometimes unforeseen. Maybe they are foreseen. Maybe, what do they say, like $600 million increase in revenue per day from the oil prices in Russia. Maybe that has been kind of configured in this situation. This is an utter disaster for many people. I mean, fertilizer prices are going to obviously go up big time. They already are. That's also going to affect things like food prices, because it ultimately affects the price of crop production. You can take these events and also use them to your favor. If people are looking at businesses or areas within the alternative energy space, this is definitely a good time to explore those ideals and to grow a business in that area. Whether it's big or small, utilize these events to your favor. Look at the stock market. Look at what stocks are being crushed or also not being crushed or are in adjustments, and buy those stocks. You could buy commodities. You have to look at these situations like how billionaires, how ultra wealthy people approach these events. In the same way with COVID, where people had to explore the situation in the same lens. Look at where you can use this to impact your bottom line, and realize that we could see gas prices at the pump of over $10 a gallon by the end of the summer in many US cities. Some folks discount this notion and are like, no way, this is never going to happen. You don't know if it's going to happen. How do people know? Did people expect the price of oil and during COVID to drop to the point that it did? Of course not. In the same way, people can't predict where oil prices could surge. And who knows, maybe some of this is part of the whole agenda. I mean, when you look at Elon Musk, his close relationship with Trump, yeah, they had the quote public falling out. Did they really have a falling out? Is there more to the spectacle? I mean, when you look at Elon Musk, his company and what area it focuses on, that kind of aligns with scarcity of oil, natural gas. I mean, yes, you need energy sources to run plants and factories and stuff, but that's not to say you could also derive that energy from alternative sources like wind power. Keep that in mind. Maybe there's a bigger plan here and they're trying to push people away from these energy sources. Maybe not. Maybe it's just an accidental effect. But once again, look at how you can utilize that to your gain and look at business opportunities in situations. Don't just hunker or cower down and just think the world's coming to an end. And likewise, maybe look at going to a different country or part of the globe if you fear that your life is in danger. Don't just stand around and expect that it's just going to improve. If you're tired of what your government or system's doing, take the action and make it change. As I said in the beginning, the biggest thing that COVID showed people that politicians don't care about us. You have to realize that you don't control these events, these quote accidental or unforeseen situations, as they call them. Which are they actually unforeseen? We don't know. This stuff we don't control, but what you can control is how you mitigate these situations and use it to your gain. Once again, stock market often is very volatile during these periods. Volatility, especially for people with less funds, is how you make some serious profit. It's also very risky. You can lose a lot. If you're in a very non-volatile market within stocks, commodities, that works against people with small accounts. People with big accounts can profit no matter what, but the small accounts can really get an upper hand during these times. And that's where you have to look at what companies or industries are benefiting or hurting and look for pendulum swings, look at for price adjustments and buy or sell. That's key here. So give me your feedback here below, guys, and thank you.